What if a spaceship could travel beyond the boundaries of space, only to return from a place darker than hell itself? Today, we're diving into one of the most intense sci-fi horror movies of the 90s. From its eerie plot to its lasting impact on fans and filmmakers, let's uncover why this movie has haunted audiences for decades. Today, we're talking about Under a multi-picture writing deal with Paramount Studios, Philip Eisner was suffering writer's block due to a family tragedy, so in an effort to get back into writing and to also fulfill his contractual needs, Eisner pitched a horror movie to Paramount. The studio got very excited from this pitch alone. That pitch he gave? The Shining in Space. The studio were very excited and asked Eisner for a treatment, but sadly, Eisner never had a detailed treatment to hand over. This is where his writer's block came into full swing, as Eisner didn't know what to do. The movie executive who brought Eisner the deal helped him with keeping things on track. Once the first draft of the script was complete, the studio were extremely happy with it. After directing Mortal Kombat, Paul W.S. Anderson was buried under a mountain of screenplays that was sent to him. Everyone wanted to have him direct their next movie, as Mortal Kombat was a great success, and the studios were even more enthusiastic due to Mortal Kombat being a video game adaptation. Anderson had one major request for his next movie though. It had to be gruesome, and it had to have an R rating. The two major movies that he turned down were the sequel to Mortal Kombat and the then in development X-Men. After reading a draft of Event Horizon, Anderson liked the concept as it bore a striking resemblance to Ridley Scott's Alien, which is one of Anderson's all-time favourite movies. Jeremy Bolt, Anderson's producing partner, felt it had a terrific concept, but it was a very dense script and the story kind of floated off into directions that no one knew where to go. Anderson didn't want to direct a copycat of Alien, so it was given a complete rewrite, picturing it as The Shining in Space. If you haven't seen Event Horizon, here's a quick rundown of the plot. Set in the distant future of 2047, Event Horizon follows a crew sent to investigate a spaceship, the Event Horizon, which mysteriously reappears near Neptune after vanishing for years. The twist? The ship may have crossed into another dimension, a dimension described as pure hell. As the crew uncovers what happened, they face terrifying visions and encounter a malevolent force. Filming started in late '96 in London at Pinewood Studios, with an eye for a release in the later part of 1997. However, Anderson was then asked by Paramount if he can get the movie ready for an August release date. The issue with this? The date was 10 months away. They didn't even start pre-production at that point in time. The time frame for the movie was terrible. Pre-production was 10 weeks, where normally a director would get between 12 and 24 weeks for pre-production alone. 4 weeks were scheduled for filming, which forced Anderson and the entire cast and crew to work 7 days a week. In this schedule, Anderson would film during the day, edit during the night, and also lead the second unit, who was still filming the final scenes. For the edit, directors are normally given a 10-week grace editing period to produce a first cut of the movie, which is guaranteed by the Directors Guild of America. But Anderson agreed to only a 6-week editing period and promised to deliver the movie for an August release. This caused a lot of issues behind the scenes, as Anderson was still directing the second unit and the post-production was cut to just 4 weeks, which a rough cut of the movie was finished, and this is the one that was shown to test audiences. The movie ran for 2 hours and 10 minutes, a whole 35 minutes longer than the actual released version. Sadly, this rough cut did not go over well. The majority of the complaints came due to the extreme amount of gore and violence that was in the movie. This was also the first time that Paramount executives were seeing what was filmed, as they stopped watching the dailies before any of the gore and violence was filmed. Paramount wanted the movie cut down to a shorter, quicker length, and to also take out the majority of the gore scenes, which ultimately hurt the movie. Event Horizon was released into cinemas on the 15th of August 1997, and the movie was a bomb. On a budget of $60 million, the movie ultimately took $42 million worldwide. The critics weren't soft either. Roger Ebert gave it 2 out of 5 stars. The Washington Post gave a damning review calling it pointlessly loud with more devotion to style than scares. However, the movie did have some early supporters, where the ratings were either 3 or 4 out of 5, and one of the early supporters of this movie? None other than Kurt Russell. After Event Horizon, Anderson was directing the Blade Runner side sequel Soldier, starring Kurt Russell. Before they started filming, Anderson showed Event Horizon to Kurt Russell, who predicted that the movie was going to be a cult classic in the future. Forget about what this movie's doing now. In 15 years' time, this is going to be the movie you're glad you made. And that is very true. Anderson loves this movie, and it is one of his favourites. As the movie disappeared from cinemas and onto DVD, the movie became a home release surprise smash hit, which got Paramount thinking of putting out a new DVD version with a director's cut on it. Yes, the exact scenes they wanted him to cut out of the movie in the first place, they wanted back in. This became a major challenge, as the cut footage was not stored carefully and the majority of it actually went missing. Over the last 2.5 decades, scenes have appeared online in various forms. Some of the cut footage has been shown and shows what the fans of the movie have missed. But the scenes that have never seen the light of day are the longer, gorier versions of Visions of Hell in the climax, where a version is available online, but it is also trimmed. But the biggest sequence fans of the movie want is the extended blood orgy. This scene is very disturbing in the released version as it is, but the uncut version is graphic beyond being graphic. Real-life amputees were used for the special effects, where crew members are being torn apart. Adult film actors were also hired to make certain scenes more realistic and graphic. Over the years, we have heard that footage has been found in a Transylvania salt mine. They've been in certain areas of the world. But the biggest hope fans of the movie got was back in 2012, when Anderson said that producer Lloyd Levin had actually found a VHS tape with the original 2 hours plus version on it. He said after completing Resident Evil Retribution, he will watch it and see what can be done with the movie. Then things went silent. Anderson said in 2017 that he had still not seen the VHS copy, as Levin moved to Spain and doesn't exactly know where the tape is. Fingers crossed we get to see something of this in the future, but I wouldn't keep my hopes up. Over the years, Event Horizon has gained a cult following, with fans drawn to its haunting atmosphere and relentless horror. Despite the mixed reception upon release, the film's unique take on sci-fi horror has influenced everything from films to video games. Franchises like Dead Space and Doom, they have both drawn on its blend of cosmic horror and psychological fear. This year, Variety magazine placed Event Horizon as the 94th greatest horror movie ever made. It's sad that 2.5 decades ago, the movie didn't get the praise it so rightfully deserved, and seeing a prestigious magazine like Variety place it in the top 100 just goes to show that the movie did something well. So why does Event Horizon still resonate? Maybe it's the idea of venturing into the unknown and facing unimaginable horror. This appeals to every single horror video game player on Earth, as venturing into the unknown is the base of every single horror video game. Or maybe it's the haunting visuals that stick with you long after the credits roll. For horror fans, this is a movie worth revisiting. It's not perfect, but it's certainly unforgettable and is in my top 15 horror movies of all time. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of Event Horizon below in the comments. Until next time, stay critical, stay scared.